The shovel hit something soft, and for the first time that night, Daniel's hands began to shake. Beneath the cold, damp soil of Willow Creek's old orchard, a woman's hair clung to the blade like a whispered accusation. The town was asleep, the stars watching, and somewhere in the distance, the church bell rang midnight, though no service was ever held that late. "I told you not to come back," he muttered, voice breaking against the silence. Her name was Clara, and this was where their love story ended. But to understand how a man like Daniel Mayers, the quiet mechanic with a reputation for kindness, ended up burying the only woman he ever loved, you have to start at the beginning. Willow Creek was the kind of place people drove through, not two. One main road, 3 diners that all served the same overcooked coffee, a church that held more secrets than sermons, and a town square that hadn't changed since the 70s. Life there was predictable, quiet on the surface, suffocating underneath. Daniel had lived there his whole life. 32, single, with hands rough from years at the auto shop his father left behind. He wasn't unhappy, just numb. His life was a series of routines: open the shop at 8, fix whatever rusted thing rolled in, have lunch at Millie's Diner, close at 6, smoke a cigarette behind the garage, go home to a 1-bedroom apartment that smelled of oil and loneliness. Then one July evening she walked in. Clara Hart, 27. From the city, nobody knew which one exactly, and she didn't offer. She was the kind of woman who made men forget their vows and women double-lock their doors. Not because she was cruel. No, Clara smiled like summer after rain, but because she didn't belong there and everyone could feel it. Her car broke down on the highway, or so she said. Daniel remembered the first thing he noticed wasn't her beauty, though she had plenty of that, freckles like constellations, a scar just beneath her collarbone, lips that looked like they kept secrets. It was the way she looked at the town as if it were a story she'd already read and didn't like the ending of. "Can you fix it?" she asked. "I can try," he said, and tried not to stare too long. 1 week became 2. Her car was more rust than machine, and parts had to be ordered. In the meantime, she rented a room above Millie's Diner, drank her coffee black, and started asking questions about the mayor, the church, the orchard on the hill everyone said was haunted. The town whispered. They always whispered. Daniel didn't care. Or maybe, for the first time in his life, he did. They started talking. Late nights at the shop, her perched on an old tire, him leaning against the hood of her car, hands greasy, heart restless. She told him she used to be a photographer, that she left the city to breathe, that some people didn't like the pictures she took because they told too much truth. "You ever think about leaving this place?" she asked one night, cigarette glowing in the dark. "Every day," he said. "Then why don't you?" He didn't have an answer. By August, they were lovers. Quiet at first, stolen touches behind closed doors, the kind of intimacy that tastes like sin in a town that pretends to be holy. But Willow Creek had eyes, and when the pastor's wife saw Clara leaving the garage at dawn, the story became a wildfire. Warnings followed, from the pastor, from the mayor, from the sheriff who just wanted to keep the peace. Clara was bad news, they said. A city woman with city habits. She asked too many questions. She had a past. Daniel didn't care. Until the letters came. At first they were slipped under her door. "Go back where you came from." Then one morning he found one nailed to his garage. "She'll ruin you." Clara laughed it off. Let them talk. Small towns need their villains. But Daniel saw the way her hands trembled when she thought he wasn't looking. In September, the orchard burned. Nobody knew who set the fire, but the town blamed her. She had been asking about it, about the missing people, the closed cases, the mayor's son who vanished 15 years ago. That night they came for her, not with torches and pitchforks. Willow Creek was smarter than that. They came with threats, with silence, with the kind of cold shoulder that becomes a noose. Daniel tried to protect her. He told her to stay, to keep her head down. But Clara was not the kind of woman who stayed quiet. She had photographs, evidence. She said the orchard wasn't just a forgotten patch of land, it was a graveyard for secrets the town buried. "Help me get out," she begged one night, "just until I can get these to someone who will listen." He said yes, of course he did. Love makes liars of us all. They planned to leave on the 1st of October, but on the last night of September, Clara vanished. The town said she ran. Daniel knew better. Her car was still in the shop. Her camera was gone, so was her notebook. He searched for days, for weeks. Then the sheriff came by, put a hand on his shoulder and said, "Let it go, son. Some women aren't meant to be saved." That was the first time Daniel felt the orchard watching him. Winter came. Snow covered the ash. People stopped asking. Life went on, but Daniel didn't. He found the notebook in December buried behind a loose panel in his garage. Photographs of the orchard, names, dates, faces he remembered from missing posters. And one page with his name. "They'll come for him next if I don't get out." The town hadn't just silenced her, they'd used him. That night he went to the orchard. The ground was frozen, the trees bare like bones. And there, beneath the oldest apple tree, he found her. Not alive, not whole, but enough to know the truth. He dug with his hands until his nails tore. And when the dawn came, he buried her again, deeper this time, where they couldn't find her, where they couldn't make a spectacle of her body like they had her name. And that's where the story should have ended. But the orchard remembers. By spring, the tree where he buried her bloomed out of season, white blossoms in March, sweet as sin. People came to see. They said the land was healing. Daniel said nothing. At night, he heard her voice, in the creak of the branches, in the static of the radio when the shop closed. "You should have left with me." He started drinking, smoking more, talking less. The town forgave him in that way towns do when they think you've been punished enough. They offered him pie, free oil changes, church invitations. He stopped going. But the photographs, they spread. One night, a reporter from the city showed up, said he got an anonymous package, Clara's work, the orchard, the names. "I need to know what happened here," he said. Daniel closed the door on him. But the next morning, the sheriff was dead. The mayor resigned, and people started leaving town. By summer, Willow Creek was a skeleton of itself. Empty houses, shuttered shops. The orchard kept blooming. Daniel stayed, because where else would he go? His love was in the soil, his guilt in the roots. And every night when the wind moved just right, he swore he heard her whisper, "You didn't bury me deep enough." They say love in a small town is supposed to save you. But in Willow Creek, it only teaches you how deep a hole can go.